This is our super cheap Jaguar XFR and it has a serious problem.
We picked this car up from a salvage auction for an absolute bargain. It had no keys, it wouldn't start, it was a total gamble. But after getting some keys made up, somehow it fired up and ran perfectly.
Under the bonnet is a 5-litre supercharged V8 that now makes 586 horsepower, but this one nearly blew itself to bits.
After the finale of the series that this car featured in, it started to get some worrying electrical gremlins, and out of sheer curiosity I checked the timing chain, and what I discovered was a chain so loose I could almost pull it off with a screwdriver.
This needed urgent attention. Had we kept driving, the chance of the chain snapping or jumping teeth were dangerously high, putting the engine at risk of catastrophic damage.
So the chains had to be replaced, and as we learned the hard way earlier this year, that meant pulling the entire engine. No small job. So we sent it off to Jaguar specialist Tom Lenthall. Now with fresh chains, tensioners and more, the engine is now better than ever, but that repair set us back thousands.
With so much money already invested in the engine, it would be a shame to leave the rest of the car looking tired. And because of the engine issues, it had been sitting under a tree for months. So today, we're going to attempt to bring it back to its former glory.
So there's a charge cooler radiator under here that we definitely need to replace. This car was in a crash and we never properly repaired the bodywork, so that needs doing. After a load of burnouts, the rear tyres are now shot. I removed the back boxes because I thought it would sound good, but it's unbearable on the motorway. And there are a load of bits around the car that just need a general tidy up.
But, as we'll learn in this episode, attempting to fully repair this old Jag is actually going to be much harder than we expected, and maybe even beyond our abilities.
Before all that though, I headed down to see Tom Lenthall, so he could explain exactly what work was done to the engine off camera.
Right, the car has been to Tom Lenthall. We didn't do it ourselves because we've had an engine out of an XFR once and we didn't fancy it again. And obviously you've seen Tony has done it before in 24 hours, so we thought he's gonna have it done like next day. So we went to Tom, and what did you do?
Well, I'll tell you what I did, I gave it to Tony. I gave it to Tony because I was busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Tony took the engine out. Yeah, because we were just looking at doing the top chains, but then I think we ended up doing the whole lot, didn't we? Because we had to take the sump off, and it was the full strip down, so it's had a full set of chains on it, so it had the whole lot done. And while the engine was out, we noticed that we had a broken engine mount.
Yeah.
So we replaced the engine mount as well, but the rest of it all seemed pretty good, other than the fact that the charge cooler radiator at the front's a little bit swollen. It's ballooned.
Yeah.
So they're made of margarine, and when the car gets a little bit tired and they get corroded, the coolant pressure makes them swell up. And it's only a matter of time for that leak, so you could probably do with replacing that.
Something we want to replace, maybe upgrade, while you're in there.
While you're there, I would highly recommend.
Right, so we need to order one of those
Yep.
and then get it fitted, pretty much.
Yes.
But other than that, it's not in the worst condition.
No. Mechanically speaking, I would say we're in a good place now.
All right, right then. Back to the unit then.
First up on our list of fixes was a brand new charge cooler radiator. But what actually is that, and what does it do?
The Jag's V8 is supercharged, forcing extra air in for more power. But this compressed air gets hot, and hot air robs power. To counter that, the XFR uses a charge cooler which chills the air before it reaches the engine. The charge cooler itself heats up though, so it depends on a radiator of its own to stay cool, and our radiator is pretty worse for wear.
This is much bigger and fully metal one. So the standard ones have got like plastic tanks that can swell and burst and split. Way more reliable, better cooling as well, which is a big issue in this car. This was quite expensive.
How much was it?
This was £800.
You can't put a price on reliability.
You know what Jags are for us? They're like the problem child, but they can't do any wrong. They keep being naughty and we go, okay, we'll get you the £800 radiator.
Just don't do it again.
Thousands of pounds for the engine. We'll do whatever you want. Just please stop being a little bastard. So we need to take the front bumper off, which is going to need to come off later on when we do paint anyway, and just stick this on.
I started by removing the bumper.
And there is the offending item.
It's quite bowed.
You can see his arch. So this is not much good. Also, these are all just falling out now, the sort of fins. That's now just crumbling.
So we needed to get the old one out, and that didn't get off to a great start. I'm only holding this.
Okay. Off is off. Look at how bowed he is at the bottom. But more importantly than that, it's a case of you versus the guy that you shouldn't be, where you won't be.
Great.
But he's bigger. He's much, much bigger. And as you can see, plastic end tanks here. It's a cost thing that most manufacturers do, but these just don't normally stand the test of time. These split, they can swell, they're just annoying. Whereas this should last forever. At least for £800, I would hope so. So now I need to get this in. My only mild concern is that I had to unbolt things from here, and there are no holes there.
A quick test fit confirmed my theory, meaning it was time for some good old-fashioned TDC fabrication.
With the old radiator lined up as a reference, I marked where we'd need to drill on the new one and made the holes.
Then I got on with the task of fitting everything up, and despite slightly messing up, the new radiator was in.
I actually snapped a bracket.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's aluminium, which is not that we can't fix that here. So I've had to make something else, but it's in there.
Ooh.
Nice and solid.
I'd call that stout.
I'd say it's not going to go anywhere. But there's one last thing.
All clean form.
Apparently black cools better.
Yeah.
So it's going to be...
Just TDC's all nice and cool. Everything else, hot.
Okay, we'll give it a couple more coats and that'll be that.
We then had to head off to the US to film some of the videos that you may have seen recently, and in the meantime, the Jag was away too, having its still damaged front end professionally repainted, ready for our return.
We have been in Monterey for a little while, but while we were in Monterey, we gave the Jag to Chris the painter at Imagination Creations, and he has done this.
I mean, the car's very dirty right now.
The car is very dirty.
But
as you might remember, even when we took it drag racing, this was all held on with tape, but now everything shuts properly, the light fits properly. We had to get a new wing.
yeah, he said a new wing, but this is that bumper, the one that was all like scratched and bent and cut up. That's impressive.
And he's had to blend it into the door. But now, this, for the first time since we've owned it, looks like a Jaguar XFR. And also, there's one more thing at the back.
You might notice last time you saw this car, there was nothing here. And in your head, you might think, they put the back boxes back on. That's boring. Come on, this is TDC.
Straight pipe.
Straight pipe. So it's now got exhaust, so, you know, whoever wins this car, they're going to look legal, but they're going to sound good. Will got in contact with the guys at Horsham Developments, and they said, yeah, you know, we can fabricate up some, you know, some resonators, some back boxes, and we went, pipe. That's it. Also, it's very stock looking tips. I love that. If I was behind this in traffic, I'd go, Chevy XFR. But there is still one thing giving it away, and we're sad to lose it, but it's the drag slicks.
The AR1s are going to have to go, unfortunately. But we've got a proper replacement. Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss. These are pretty much one of the only tyres I've ever put on like high performance stuff like this, obviously other than the AR1s. But for road stuff, these are perfect. And just look at that sidewall.
Hey, he's got the velvet, he's got some meats. It's a great guy to have in your team.
And he's all-round guy.
I'd call that round. All round.
All-round tyres. I think we're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah. That'll go well.
That's fine.
We headed over to our tyre machine, ready to attempt to fit this fresh new rubber.
We began by using the machine to remove the worn-out slicks.
Hello, mate.
Now, with just a bare rim, Will got to work installing the lovely new Michelins, quickly realising he'd completely forgotten how.
So, I've just put that on there without even thinking.
Some lube?
With my memory jogged, I lubed up the new tyre. Some tyres are sided. You can tell because this one says outside, but also because it has the nice Michelin bit on here. And on the other side, we have this sort of backrooms looking Michelin logo. And now you just throw the wheel at the tyre and it'll go on. Aha!
Was that as good as it was for you as it was for me?
That was nice.
The next step was to fill the tyre with air, and it should pop perfectly into place with a big bang. But that was really putting us on edge.
There we go. Finally, we needed to balance the wheel with the new tyre, but the machine that measures the balance was acting a little strange.
Sorry, what the We have made the perfectly balanced wheel.
Tyres fitted, we took a look at them on the car.
Not stance, but fitment is the way to secure all things. If you don't smile at that, you're wrong.
Next up for the Jag is under trays. Don't
Don't click away yet. It's not that boring, but it does need it. The Jag at the moment is looking a bit naked. He's got no shorts on. Now you might think under trays is boring. You don't need them. You do need them. They are important. One, keeps a load of crap out your engine bay and underneath the car. Covers up the brake lines, blah, blah, blah. Lots of modern cars have got these covers underneath to protect everything, and the Jag is no different. So I have the front and the middle one, which are the original ones, but you might remember that when we bought this car, when Copart put it on a, what is that thing called, Ben?
Forklift.
Forklift, that's the one. When they put it on a forklift, I think they do it long ways down the car, and that caused a load of damage, and it cracked some of the under trays. But I bought some more. I actually think that one might be broken, which it didn't say in the advert, but it's too late for me to do anything about that now, and it's better than nothing because it covers up the brake lines and fuel lines which were damaged before. So time to get those on.
Hi.
Morning. You okay?
Just want to let you know you have about 20 minutes to this car to get an MOT.
Okay.
It's not to add time pressure, but you really do carry out.
Why don't you shut the
With that added time pressure, I wrestled with the under trays and refit almost all of them.
I noticed not all the under trays are fitted. Why is that?
Because we ran out of time, but they will go on. We're going for an MOT right now.
So off we went to the inspection where thankfully it passed. But on the way back, everything took a massive turn because we suddenly ran into an overheating issue. What's happening, Will?
Well, we got the heaters on full, not because it's a cold day, but because I just got a message on the dash that said engine temperature high. So I've just had to pull over, let it cool off for a bit, and now I'm going to try and get back to the unit as quickly as possible without killing the engine. We think the fan might have died. And tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we're going to TRS to have this car tuned.
I know we're in, danger seasons and it's overheating. But can we get a little sound? I mean, because it does sound quite good.
No, I have to go faster to get air in the
Of course,
engine.
of course.
So. Also, this car has there's no temp gauge.
No.
Revs, speed, gears. That's it. And then it just goes, you're overheating, mate. What temperature is it?
We weren't too far from the unit, but even on this short drive, we had to keep stopping and waiting for the Jag to cool down. We had just spent thousands on getting the engine sorted, and we really didn't want to ruin it again.
Just thought we'd stop for just a look around the local area. Look at that. Oh, that's a cool Tesla. Should we leave in maybe 10 to 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think it is nice for now. That is steaming now. Now, our Jaguar bodywork has now been repaired, so you would never know visually that this has been in a crash, but with a car vertical report, you can find out that history.
That's right, because every single day hundreds of cars get crashed, much like this one, but some people will repair them and put them back on the road with no intention of telling you about their history. But with a car vertical report, you can find out that dodgy past.
All you need to do a car vertical report is the VIN, and if you haven't got that, you can also use the registration number, and then the car vertical report will tell you if that car has been crashed, stolen, or clocked.
And here we have the Jaguar XFR's report, and as we can see, there is a yellow marker for damage. So if we were unscrupulous and we decided we're going to sell this without telling anyone, someone could run a car vertical check and see that there was damage in late 2024 and would be able to get the correct price from it. But we know what we have, no low balls.
Now here we've got a Jaguar with a much dodgier history than ours because we've got a yellow marker here for damage, and if we scroll down, we have photos of the damage, the mother of all rear end shunts, and then if we come out of that, here it is in a showroom looking absolutely immaculate. Recorded damage in the US once, and then again in Lithuania, and then we've got another damage report in Poland as well. So just like those photos earlier on in the dealership, you might have no idea about this car's past, but with a car vertical report, you can find all of this out.
So the next time you're buying a car, van, motorbike, or one of two Jaguar XFRs, make sure that you're on a car vertical check to make sure the price you pay for it matches its history.
And as an added bonus, Car Vertical are offering you guys 20% off when you use our code TDC.
Finally, back at the unit, we jumped into full diagnosis mode and quickly realised that the main problem was that the car's fan wasn't coming on when it was needed.
So we're going to see if we can get the fan to be on all the time. It's something we can fix afterwards properly, but this car is being tuned tomorrow and I don't want to waste Peter's time. I would like this to be tuned tomorrow, so we have this evening to do that. But it means we can do a bodge, but an official bodge.
Yeah.
So we've plugged in our diagnostic thing. Obviously we've had some error codes, so we're going to see what pops up. Maybe that might direct us in the way. The fan isn't coming on, so that is, to us, the most obvious thing. If the fan ain't fanning, things are going to get hot.
This was supposed to be a feel-good video.
This was meant to be Jag, we're saving the Jag. We are saving the Jag, and it's going to make the power figure it's meant to have. And the Jag said, hello, mate.
Do you have games on your phone?
Yeah, I've got, God, I hate Jaguars on here. It costs thousands to play, and it doesn't make you any happier. So I'm seeing nothing on here currently of any use. So let's see if we can get the fan going and go from there.
With time ticking and a tuning session booked for first thing the next morning, we got it up in the air, removed the under tray that I'd only just fitted, and checked for anything disconnected or damaged.
That is a grounder positive. We could just add 12 volts to this and just see if anything happens. We somewhat sketchily gave the connector power, hoping that it would make the fan spin, which would tell us that the fan module itself hadn't given up. Nothing. That is a first implication that maybe the fans themselves are not happy.
After some research, we discovered that simply giving the connector power would actually never have worked.
It also has signal wires that come from the ECU that tell it to go at different speeds, all this sort of stuff. So we can't just wire it on full time.
So back at square one, we moved on to the next test.
Edwin has just found that it's quite common that there is a ground underneath the headlight, that sometimes if that's missed or it's broken, could cause it. And this is the headlight we replaced, because this was damaged in the crash, and obviously we replaced it. So we'll have a look.
The ground wasn't clear enough to properly inspect, and since we'd replaced the headlight even before our day at Santa Pod, we figured that was unlikely to be the cause. Otherwise, the issue would have shown up much sooner. While I was busy doing more research, Will got to work removing the intakes, hoping we'd be able to get a closer look at the fan itself.
Edwin has just been on the phone to Tony. We're going to use our quite fancy diagnostic tool, which is a pretty good one, and see if we can turn the fans on that way. Because a lot of these, they'll have live data and also special functions. That mean you can go say, turn the indicators on to test, turn the fans on. So I'm going to try and find that in here.
After scrolling through endless pages of diagnostic tests, we finally found the one for the fans.
So if I press execute, I'm going to assume that's a test.
There is a fan. So the fan's going.
That's a fan.
So, that's good news. That implies our fan pack is working, it's just not getting the signal.
That's fans. I've heard fans.
And that's one of them.
Our fans should just subscribe, and these fans should just work.
With the fans seemingly working, it appeared that there was something stopping them from actually turning on when needed. We're seeing it's kind of moving up at different points on both sides, starting to get very hot. Fan's not kicking on. Will then manually turns it on the pad. Coolant temperature should come way back down, straight down. So that is the reason we're overheating. It's the fans. That signal isn't getting through. So Tony right now, very kindly, Tony's been at work all day working on Jags. So the last thing he wants to do is work on them again. He's pulling up the wiring diagram. He's going to let us know. We've sent him the information. Hopefully there is a fix for this.
With it getting later into the night, we waited while Jag expert Tony checked out the wiring diagrams for us while he was at home. But suddenly, our chances of making it to the tuning session ended in an instant.
That is the bleed screw. Unfortunately, I have just ended our chances of getting this car going tonight because that is now broken off. The moment it snugged up, I stopped, and then I saw water pissing out of it, turned it a tiny bit more, and that came off.
With no immediate fix available to us, we had to call it a night and cancel the next day's tuning session.
As you can see, next day we are not at TRS Performance. I had to cancel on Peter last night at about 10 o'clock, which he was very, very nice about. So today we're back in here trying to figure it out again.
Yes, so first port of call, the thing that I broke, the bleed screw that goes in the system. Looked it up online, spoke to Tom Lenthall this morning, spoke to Jaguar this morning, spoke to Eurocar, spoke to everyone, and they said, we don't stock that Jag part. In fact, Jaguar want you to buy the whole pipe new. Through some forum searching, someone said a BMW one fits. We're in the land of BMWs. So we went and stole a part, as you can see. It kind of fit, but didn't. Ted walked in and said, I've got a brass one, which is an upgrade here. So, moment of truth, will it fit? Yes.
Oh, look at that. That's
Right.
the guy.
That should be happy.
And also, I woke up this morning to a voicemail from Tony. Again, Tony worked deep into the night at home looking for wiring diagrams and all sorts. I got a voicemail that said, I think better in my sleep. I had an idea. Check the plug that you looked at before, the multi-plug, and check the green wire. So we need to check that there's power to that green wire. So that is our next step.
With that connector from earlier removed again, I hooked up a voltmeter to test if one of the important wires was actually getting power or not. and somehow it was, which made no sense why the fan wasn't spinning.
Just as baffled as before, we were running out of options, and after more research, we had one final thing we could try.
We're going to try and bleed the system. We did that radiator earlier in the video, but I don't think we ever bled it properly. So just in case there is an airlock, we'll try and do that. I've just looked up the process. It's slightly more involved than I thought it was. I thought it was you just let the engine run, heaters on, open up the bleed screw. It's not quite the same.
In most cars, it's pretty straightforward to do, but the Jag has a full step-by-step process which takes ages, and even after all of that work, we had no luck at all.
We have tried our absolute best with this. No bueno, nothing at all. Still no fan. We can turn the fan on again and that brings the coolant temps down, but it's not coming on when it should, so it's not tunable currently. So just been on the phone to Tom Lenthall, who laughed, but also quite scarily was also confused. But he said, drop it off, boys, and we'll have a look. And unfortunately, we are going to have to give it to a specialist and concede defeat because we don't know where next to go. The car is telling us what temperature it's reading. It's getting up to the correct temperature, but something between that and the fan isn't happening. We need him to speak Tom Lenthall's language.
Which is money. After almost 2 days of work, the Jag was still fighting us, and we'd simply run out of options.
Our plan with the car is still to get it back to its former glory, hopefully making over 600 horsepower, and then one of you can win it. But to do that, we want it to be properly fixed.
Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to finally see this Jag finished soon.